Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
This looks so official. If you'd pass your homework in to the left, we will pick. No. I'm Steve Olson, and I'm your host for the evening. It's good to see you. I have at least 22 people who cannot be here tonight, who want to travel with us. That's why the camera is here, and we're going to post a link on the website in the next couple of days. So anything we talk about tonight, if you want to share it or go back and look, sometimes I talk really fast. Sometimes I forget things, so I may need to be reminded, but anyways, good to see you. Nice to see some faces. Showtime Productions is now 12 years old. I started in 2010 for two reasons. First of all, we were at a show, we were on a trip with my high school in New York City, and I was handing out tickets at dinner, and on the schedule we had, it had one time, and the tickets said another time for starting. So we got 80 some odd kids together and ran down the street and just missed Good Morning Baltimore for Hairspray. But they did seat us because we were a large group and we were in the balcony. The other reason I started Showtime was I was on another trip in England, and everybody was on the bus except the director, and he came in like 20 minutes late, and we're all sitting there ready to go. And his comment to everybody on the bus was, we'll go when I'm ready. Honest to God, I'll never forget that. And so I came home and I thought, you know what, I can do better than this. We had people giving tickets, theater tickets to my groups, to my high school group specifically. We'd have the back 2 rows of the balcony, like even in Majestic Theater, you know, for Phantom. Cheapest tickets going. When you travel with Showtime, we get great tickets. If we're in the West End seeing Les Mis, we're down on the floor 12 or 14 rows back from the top. I mean, it's incredible. Hey guys, come on in.
They were approved, so.
Excellent.
So yes, it started.
Excellent. So it's been really cool the first 10 years. The last 2 years, I was about ready to have my best year. We had 11 trips, and you know what happened to all 11 trips? Yeah, everything tanked. So it's kind of interesting to see now, even watching the news this morning, how travel is coming back. And gas prices are up, airline ticket prices are up. My wife was trying to go to Denver here in a couple weeks, and she couldn't believe the prices had doubled since she went. So we are happy to have opportunity to travel. You wouldn't be here unless you wanted to travel. Showtime Productions has been successful in so many ways. I'm really, really pleased. Domestically, I handle most everything. I do have a CDL and drive for 2 companies. I often drive our trips. If we go down to see the Ark, we go to Cleveland, we go to Chicago, I can get a bus and I actually am the driver, which sometimes is kind of fun. Sometimes it's a hassle, and if we get a driver, that's not a problem either. Internationally, I've partnered with Bob Rogers Travel, and I have our rep here tonight. This is Caro, and she'll introduce herself in a couple minutes. We've been traveling together for a long time. Very long time. And she's still my friend. She is born and bred in Germany, and we have actually gone to her mom and dad's house with a group. That's a whole story in itself. Oh, by the way, if you are fairly new to me or to Showtime, there's always stories. They're always firsthand. They're always, I think, very interesting. You may sit there and roll your eyes, but my wife rolls her eyes quite a bit. But I could tell you about the time when we were on a bus going like this, and Caro was in the motherly way with her first. And that was a little, And now her daughter's got her driving license.
Permit.
Okay, well, that tells you kind of how long we've been hanging together. We have done trips, and we've actually repeated a couple of trips. We have had people who have come on one trip, we've had people come on multiple trips. There is one couple that says, I don't care where you go, Steve, we'll go with you. And they're coming on these trips coming up. I had a London-Paris trip, which we were going to do, I think, the third time, and I've postponed that. But we will do a London-Paris again, basically the same as we did we do it in 2018?
Yeah.
2019.
Was it 2019?
Yeah,
That's when we went.
yeah.
Okay. Same itinerary. I mean, it's just a great itinerary. From the first time we have dinner in the West End to the first meal we have, which is generally on a cruise on the Thames River, which is like one of the best meals you get because it's like seafood buffet. Yeah, it's cool. So when we go to Paris, of course now, we were there just a couple weeks before the fire, which was really sad. But we were there like about a month, 4, 5, 6 weeks somewhere. So it was, people who we know with us. They took great pictures, and Notre Dame will never be the same. But we'll go back there. They've opened parts of it, and it's great. We go to see the Eiffel Tower. We don't go during the day. We go at night, and it's spectacular. It really is. It's called the City of Lights for a reason, but it's really, really cool. So there's some things that we do. I will tell you, if you're new traveling with me, I can't say always now, I never bring people places that I haven't been before. My wife and I spent 4 days in Italy a couple years ago, checking out hotels, restaurants, things like that. We actually changed a couple. When we go to Italy, we will have an interpreter with us. And she's still working with us. She's really, really nice. I'm not sure what color hair she'll have, but she's very, very cool. And she lives in Venice, I think.
Outside of Venice now, yeah.
Okay. So most all the places I will bring you, I've been to, and I've eaten the food and stuff like that. There are some times that we're booked in a place because some people think it's a nice, quaint hotel.
Others think the ghosts don't matter if they're in the castle, so. Payback.
I actually booked a place that was haunted, and neither of us had been to. We only stayed there, I think, one night.
Right.
But we've got stories. I'm telling you what, it's really great, and they're all firsthand. They're just great. So this is a little bit of an introduction to who I am and what we do. I'm a retired school teacher. My wife is the school teacher, the choir director in this room at Franklin. And we so appreciate the fact that we've had a lot of Franklin kids, band and orchestra. I've taken the orchestra to Cleveland, to Symphony Hall. Bands traveled. I traveled with a couple other high school bands. One is very successful in all their travels. Let's see. So just so you know, staff, Caro, and she's with Bob Rogers, and she will definitely have a few minutes to talk with, a couple of specific things. This is Laura, and Laura is the guru who does all the website work. She is Computer Plus. She's great. And where I can't spell computer, she just does all kinds of wonderful stuff. She's also very helpful with the communication factor, so if you have questions or can't get a hold of me, or if you get an email, it's probably going to come from her. So anyways, Laura is really glad to have Babs with us now. Babs has just kind of come on to Showtime. She's a good friend for many years, and she just does and going to be doing a lot of stuff that I don't want to do, basically, or I'm not very good at. So I always try and hire and bring in people that are smarter than me and definitely better looking. So anyways, so that gives you a little background of Showtime. I put this together. It's about a 3rd grade level, and I didn't use glow stick with the paste on it. I used a spray, and so that's why it looks like there's spots on it. I haven't done a trifold like that probably since 3rd grade. But it does give you a little idea I think all the pictures on there I've taken. There are a whole bunch from Ireland I'm going to show you in a couple minutes. There's a couple from Italy. We did have our Italy tour planned. We had 43 or 44. I think we were 44 on the Italy, and we had to disband it, needless to say. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that. Some of you are interested in Ireland. Some of you are interested in Italy. I now have 3 trips down to the Arc planned this summer. I spent 4 days in New York City this fall, just because so many things have closed and changed. If you want to go to the 9/11 museum, it's closed, I think, Monday and Tuesday now, and you won't see that on the website. You won't see that when you call and talk for information. So there are things that I find out specifically, so when we plan our trips, they work really, really good. This is Mrs. Olson. And so she said she was going to help us get set up, then she was going to go home. By the way, supper's ready. Let's see. Also on there, I may have a picture of Chicago. There's one in the middle there. Most everybody knows what that is, but some people don't. If you've never been to Mackinac, it is a great place. If you haven't been in a couple years, it's a great place to go again. I do trips like families of 8, or we can do 80, or we could do 160. I have 2 bus companies I work with here locally, and we do all of our shirts and all of our publications, everything pretty much locally. I like the Chamber of Commerce. I'm part of the chamber here in Livonia. So, I'm really pleased with where we are, and I'm just hoping that we're going to get back into traveling pretty darn soon. Okay? There's a couple things on the website. There's a couple testimonials, a couple things that people have said which are really nice. We can add to that or change around. You can certainly ask some people. The lady back here in the nice red plaid shirt has traveled with us internationally, and she's actually our accompanist, our organist. She could tell you, I was just looking at some pictures and a short video from Austria, and just some wonderful memories. Great trip. We got to do that one again sometime. So anyways, traveling is back. If you can understand, I drive for Hilton Properties down at the airport, so I talk to a lot of people over a lot of times, internationally as well as nationally. I will tell you, trips to Russia are pretty much on hold, and a lot of trips to China, believe it or not. They used to have money and Friday night to China on Delta, and they're cutting that back a little bit. So we're not going to either of those locations, but there are people traveling quite a bit, which is good, domestically and internationally. But prices are up, which is good for them, not so good for us. And they're hiring like crazy. I mean, if you're a pilot, boy, you can get a job with it anywhere. So, so just by show of hands, how many of you are interested in going to Ireland?
I've got 5 possibly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh. We did the Irish trip in 2016. One reason I keep these fleeces is I can see when we went, and it was a great trip. We're not changing much of it. We have these flyers. Carol has put them together, and you're welcome to take them home tonight. I will tell you one thing it does not have in it. It does not have your itinerary. And there's a couple reasons for that. This has all the pricing and all the information you probably need. And if you have a question, Carol's information is probably not on it, but she's got a card over there. You can always ask me and I can send it to her. There are some subtle changes to our, because I don't think are we still fine in Shannon?
No, Dublin.
Okay. So, but there are a couple things we are doing. We are still doing what most tour companies don't do. We're going to go see a sheepdog work some sheep on a farm, which is really cool. And if you go look at, some of these tours that are great, nobody does that. But it's really cool because it's very Irish. Now, when we're in Dublin, we'll do some of the really touristy things. I mean, and I don't know if you're a drinker or not, but it doesn't matter. But we will go to the Guinness factory, which is very cool. And anybody going through there after several hours, you will get a chip because everybody gets a pint. And if you don't want yours, I will happily take it. I think the last time I was there, I had
He's not
4.
driving on that trip.
No, I'm not driving on that trip. But it doesn't bother me. But anyways, the Guinness factory is very, very cool in Dublin. Of course, we'll see the Book of Kells. You could spend 2 weeks just in Dublin. You really could. There's a cool dinner that we're going to have with entertainment. So we pack a lot of things in. I will tell you that even domestically as well as internationally, I've had one complaint over the years. And if Carol were here, and I know she's going to be watching this tomorrow, she will tell you I've done better. The one complaint that I've had with people is there's not enough time for shopping.
That's true.
So we try and now book it in, usually around lunchtime, especially if we're like in Kinsale, which is a great place. You will have some time to shop. When we go see the Crystal, you will have time to shop. And I don't know, did we bring our vase home or did we ship it?
I carried it.
We bought a flower vase that's on our kitchen table, which is really cool from Waterford. But I promise you will have time to shop because some people like to do that. When we go kiss the Blarney Stone, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, Google it. There is an incredible store there. It's as big as a Meijer. I mean, it's incredible. And you can buy a lot of really cool things. Guys, if you like the hats, girls, if you like the sweaters, I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff. So anyways, these are here for you to take, and I appreciate Carol putting them together. Italy, we've lost most of the people, although some people have said they're going to re-sign and come back on. Some of the kids in high school are now in college, and they are having it's kind of a whole different thing for them. What happens for Italy, that's actually a singing trip. Not everybody has to sing. We usually have ushers and people who help out. But like your granddaughter, which is a great usher. But we will actually sing 3 concerts in Italy. And it's pretty cool. We do our meetings and our rehearsals usually on Sunday nights. We'll start maybe in September. We meet once a month. There'll be ways you can learn your music. Most everybody sings. I mean, it's just kind of fun. And it's all American music, so we don't bring anything that, is like Italian or even Latin. We just do American stuff, which is kind of good. And then Sandy will probably be our accompanist, and she'll always have fun because she has to go in, with little time and figure out these wonderful instruments. Oh yeah, this one is Italy. Thank you. So we have been to these cities. And not just the 3 main cities, because tours will stop in Venice and Florence and Rome. But actually, we're going to stop in a couple other places for lunch in between. So we're going to go see the chapel in Assisi, the St. Francis of Assisi Chapel. It's kind of on the way. So rather than bypass it, we're going to stop it. We're also going to stop and see Romeo and Juliet's balcony, which is... It's like an add-on. I mean, yes, we're going to see the statue David. Yes, we'll see the Duomo. Yes, we're going to take a ride in... Boy, do I sound like a salesman or what? We're going to take a ride in a gondola. It's usually like 80 euros for you just to take a ride in a gondola. Everybody gets a gondola ride in Venice. It's included. I have never taken it. We didn't even do the gondola ride, but I'm looking forward to it. And of course, in Rome, we'll see the Colosseum, we'll see the Trevi Fountain, we'll see the things that you just when in Rome, right? So the phrase goes. So, anyways, you're welcome to take these. There's a lot of information. She did them in color. I'm so impressed. I press easy. So you can get as much information as you need. So these are the two trips we're kind of talking about. I'd be glad to take questions. I don't know if I should do it now or if I should let Carol do her thing first. Because there is one thing that's different that I can't explain, but Bob Rogers has to. And so, Carol, you might as well come talk about insurance.
So I'm Carol. So yeah, Steve and I have been working together probably 20+ years now. Close to it. So I really enjoy meeting all the different travelers and friends that he brings along the way, and repeats that we get to work with again. I want to talk to you about the most important thing to protect your investment in the trip, which is travel protection insurance. So on these, on the brief flyers, they're attached to it is the cost breakdown, the suggested payment schedule, how to register for the trip, and as part of registration in the trip, it will ask you if you're interested in purchasing trip insurance. That way it's easy for you to remember if you're interested, and we do highly recommend it. There is some money that was lost with everything that happened, but most people have really, because of the insurance, recovered most of their funds on all of the trips that had to be postponed or canceled. But it is very simple. It's the enhanced policy that we suggest, which helps you get covered for reasons that are not always covered for insurance. Like, for example, if the students are going and, you sign your son or daughter up and all of a sudden now they're really getting bad grades and you don't think this is a good idea to send them on the trip anymore. No insurance is going to give you any money back, but this enhanced plan will give you 75% back, no questions asked. If it's a covered reason, like someone gets sick or hurt within the family before you leave, you still get up to 100% refund on those things. But not just that, Steve has a good story too. On the way there every once in a while, on the way home every once in a while, some things can happen with the airlines that we can't control. So there's a chance of travel delay, which this insurance protects you. And the most important reason really why to add this on, and you could do the standard plan. So the cost is 7% of your trip cost. So if you're in a single room and your trip cost is such and such, you pay 7% of that in your premium for the insurance. And that includes the enhanced policy, so for the no questions asked policy. The standard one is 4.55% of your trip cost, so a little bit less expensive, but it doesn't give you that any reason cancellations. But it still gives you 4 covered reasons. But it will protect you medically. So your health insurance does not work outside of the U.S., but this plan will give you health coverage up to the plan's limit for medical expenses and emergencies, both accident and medical, while on tour. That's really the reasons why we really highly recommend everyone to purchase this. And you know ahead of time, you're planning on what we did in the past or were able to do in the past is make it part of your trip, and then you only saw the total trip. However, insurance plans change quite a bit with everything going on, and you have to be the person that's opting to buy it, and you have to be the person that's actually paying for it, and that's the reason why they have that extra step. So at registration, you register, you'll show a payment for your deposit and a second payment for your trip premium. Go ahead, yes.
We have annual insurance.
Oh,
that we
perfect.
We
Yep.
renew every year, so that's,
Yep, so if you have insurance through a different provider, same kind of thing, as long as you're protected, that's all we care about, honestly. We just want everyone to be protected, and so if you have an annual plan, that's even better. If you wanted to check with your healthcare provider if they provide, medical insurance over there too, that's another good idea, but most of them are very basic, and this really avoids any type of out-of-pocket expenses as much as possible, if anything was to happen. So that's what I
And by the
came
way,
to talk about.
To my knowledge, we've not had any major problem on any of our trips.
No, we've had a couple incidents where I take a few people to the doctor to get some refills or weren't feeling good, and we used the insurance and everything got reimbursed. They had a delay, was it on the way there, right?
We had a plane
Oh,
cancel,
plane cancel, and you
and
had
we
to
were
get a
supposed to
different
go to the
plane.
west side of Ireland.
Yeah.
And 90 minutes later, we were on a plane to Dublin.
Yeah.
We got the bus driver to come meet us. Bob Rogers canceled our one hotel and booked another hotel. and we were on.
Yeah.
But my wife got some of her gray hair from that trip.
We
Oh,
were up
well.
like 48 hours. I mean, like, we were up like
Right,
a
48,
long
yeah.
time.
Yeah, it was a bit of luck of the Irish for that one, no question about it. But otherwise, we've really had no problem. Nobody's fallen, broken a leg or anything like that, so that's kind of good.
Yeah, but it's there to protect you, and so that's what I wanted to just stress to everybody, that it's important to at least consider and read the information. And we have the information sheet in there, and like I said, it's part of your registration process, so you don't, unless you have outside coverage, you don't have to really think about having to do any extra steps other than saying, yes, I want to purchase it, or nope, I don't want to purchase it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So we had put down the money for 5 of us for Italy.
Right,
I'm confident that they still have the money and everything
right,
in regards to that. So for registering, I did go ahead and try to register, but I have to get the visa, what you call it?
The number, the trip number.
Passports all together and
oh,
everything.
right, yeah, yeah.
I've got to get all those together in order to do that. But the question is that, do I have to pay for that trip insurance? Because I think it was around $200 or $300.
Right, I'll have to look. Email me, we'll double check on your
Okay.
account, but if you're re-registering, starting new, we should be able to put that as part of the transfer, but I would start new with this insurance. But this is a
Okay.
case by case because they were registered prior to it, and so I have to
Okay.
look at the details and see at what we had.
Right, because it depends, if there's 4 of us that go,
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly confident we have enough. If
Right.
there's 5 of us, then we've got to pitch in, and I've
Right.
got to locate it.
Got it, okay, makes sense. Yeah, we'll look at it.
Okay.
All right, Steve, you want to come back over here for questions?
Sure, sure. So on the table, there's the information about the trips, and then there's a sheet here that has to do with the insurance, so you can take both of them. And people online reading this, if you will email me or email Laura, we will send these to you. We'll put them on the web, and then you can get a link of some sort. I think that's how it works, right? Yeah, okay.
They're on the website.
Okay, great. So, I just saw this thing about passports, and I was at the post office the other day, and some guy was paying $80 or $90 because he needed to facilitate getting it faster. Some of you may have your passports, some of you need to check to see if it needs to be renewed. If you're getting them new, it takes a while, and they have a lot of people getting them now. So even though you're thinking Italy in a year and a half, I would still put in for it. For adults, they're good for 10 years. I'm on my 4th passport, which is kind of cool. Yeah, and I've kept them all.
And just make sure that your passport's at least valid for 6 months past our departure date. That's important too. If not, you may need to renew it before the trip.
So 6 months. If it looks like it's going to not be valid 3 months in our trip, then get it renewed or whatever. Yeah, get another one. That's important. But I put this on the website so you can understand how that works. And like I said, the post office is right now the best place. They even take pictures. You can do that, or you can get pictures at like CVS or something like that.
Walmart has them, I think.
Yeah? I was at Walmart today, and I wasn't sure those 2 guys working there knows how to spell picture. I'd stick with the post office, really.
Yeah.
Whatever. But anyways, how many of you need passports?
You have to renew.
Okay. Yeah. So that's great. That's not a problem. But my suggestion is go ahead and start the process. Sometimes people forget, and all of a sudden we're like 3 months out, and then you got to pay the $80 and then another $60, and you get it expedited and get it overnighted. I mean, it can happen, but you don't want it to happen. I've only had 1 passport loss. On a trip to England, we were in Bath, and there was a student of mine. She went into the girls' room. She went to wash her hands. She put her passport by the sink, washed her hands, and walked out. This was in 2002 because we still traveled after the 9/11 problem. Just the terrible thing of 9/11, 2001. So it took us longer to get into the embassy in London than it did to get her passport renewed. I take photocopies of everybody's passport in my backpack, and then I shred them. So when we're home, so if you've gone with us, it's not like I've kept your passport, okay? So I will need a copy of everybody's passport, and then for whatever reason you lose yours or it gets, mangled or something, then we can get it renewed, because you don't want to try and come back to the United States without a passport.
Can't.
You can't. Okay, so what we would just do is we would just go to the embassy in whatever country we're in, and I would do that, and we would go together and we would get your passport, and it happened, and we did it in an afternoon. Yeah. Okay, questions? Open it up for anything, and there's no dumb question.
How many people are signed up now, and how many people are you taking?
We have tried to keep between 35 and 45. We had 43 for Italy ready to go. Ireland, we were in the 40s as well. That's just we have to try and think about the size bus we have. We will have a coach with us the whole time. Generally the same driver. Depending if we're in a city, sometimes we take city buses, just depending on where we are, what we're doing. But I think for these two trips, we'd probably have the same driver and the same coach the whole time. So yeah, low 40s is good. It also makes a difference on what restaurants we can go to. Now, if you see this picture, this is a picture of one of the places we're going to eat, I think in Florence. That only seats like 45. That's downstairs, right off the plaza. So, 45 would take up a good part of the restaurant for lunch or something like that, or dinner, whatever. But so that's why we try not to go with any more than, I think we had 51 trip, but we try and keep it like that. How many are signed up right now? I'm not sure.
Handful or two.
Maria?
For Italy, how close are we to the itinerary you shared with us? Because we were all gung-ho, you had the hotels and everything. Are we close to that?
And Italy itinerary probably isn't going to change. It was a really good itinerary, and you were about ready to get it, weren't you?
Yeah, sure.
And then I didn't give it to you. So it's, although the dates have changed, the basic layout of how we're doing it, where we're going, where we're staying, is pretty much the same.
Okay, you gave us the hotels and stuff already. You had given us a paper with the hotels.
Yeah,
One had a pool or something. And
yeah. The one had the upper deck, which was
Yeah,
really cool.
Oh, yeah.
In Italy, the one that we went to, and really we changed, it was not the one that we were supposed to stay in, but it has an upper deck. It has a full bar and a place where you can smoke cigars and just be outside in the open, which is so cool. It was really neat, and it was different than we thought. But anyways, yes.
And when do you think you'll have the itineraries? You said they're not.
Itineraries, I pretty much have them now. The difficulty is if there is a change or what can I tell you? Generally a month and a half before we leave, that's when I pass out itineraries to people. It's a little bit the anticipation. We give you highlights of the trip, but there are more things. I generally don't hand out itinerary until our group is set, until we know who's going, and all of our logistics are taken care of, and then, a meeting or two before. For the Ireland trip, we'd probably only meet probably 3 times, and maybe the second time I would hand out the itinerary. Because it's still a little ways away, there's a possibility that something would change. And I would hate to give you something that would not be exactly what it is. What if one of the hotels closes and we have to change it?
Yeah, I wasn't so interested in the hotels as like how many days here and sort of what we're going to see. I really don't care about hotels.
Well, hotels are important.
They're important, but yeah.
And the other thing you should know is this. We try as much as we can to stay 2 nights in the same hotel.
Okay.
We could stay 1 night here, 1 night here, 1 night here. So when you get up for breakfast, you got to pack the bus again. It really is nice. And sometimes we've had some trips where we go 3 and 3.
Yeah.
3 nights and 3 nights. Basically, we're 6 nights, in Europe. So we try and do 2 and 2 and 2 as much as we can. Sometimes I think in Ireland we stayed 1 night because we stayed at the castle one time, and we could only get in 1 night.
The Ireland's 2, 2, and 2.
Okay, 2, 2, and 2.
And then,
Which means you can go and unpack and come back, and you don't have to repack in the morning. So that's kind of cool. Yes.
so
Do we know if for Italy, we would fly from Detroit to where, or, like, we took that bus one time to Toronto or whatever, right, and then to.
Yeah, we're trying to come out of Detroit all the time. Yeah, we have found sometimes prices have been good if we go to Toronto and fly out of there, but it hasn't made that much difference now.
Not lately, no. Yeah, it should, so it'll depend on airline. If we do Lufthansa, it'll be through Frankfurt. If we do Delta, most likely it'll be through Atlanta or Amsterdam for connections. United, try to avoid United because they always connect you in the East Coast, so it's June, so weather wouldn't be as much of a problem, but it's usually Washington or JFK, those kind of airports if we end up on United. We kind of look at who has the best fares and who has the best schedule, and then him and I.
And
will
we can
say,
only get fares, what, 200 days before?
300 days,
300 days, so,
so in the fall.
yeah,
Yeah, fall, we'll know more about the airline.
yeah. I like going into Amsterdam, I'll be honest with you. I love flying over the sea just before you get there and seeing all the windmills and stuff. It's very cool. And it's a nice airport too. Maria?
Okay, I'm so sorry, I've got lots of questions, but, so the, like, Ireland trip, we're leaving on the 5th. Do we leave at night or,
Yes.
like, take the day off, or?
We'll be leaving late afternoon. So this one is on Air Canada, so it'll be through Toronto, but it's a late afternoon flight.
Like what time?
I have to, hold on, let me see if I have it in my phone. Keep asking, I'll look in my phone.
Okay, that's the main thing, is if we have to take off that day or not, like, on the 5th. Because I know most of those flights are overnight, right?
Right,
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
right.
I think maybe a half a day, but I don't think you'll need to. I mean, for me, I've always found it's hard to work that morning because all you're thinking about is packing and you're like, oh, what did I forget? What do I need to do? So I just take the day of anyways and wait till that day to pack or do laundry and then pack.
But-
I'm more worried about my daughter. I don't want her to have to take.
By the way, I do have a
off.
scale if you're curious, but international is 50 pounds. And 50 pounds is a lot. You can take one suitcase and then a carry-on, either a backpack or whatever, and they're pretty good about that. But I would suggest doing 30 or 35 pounds because you can always pack stuff in your suitcase to bring it home, Unless it's like a Waterford crystal chandelier or something like that, then you won't have shit.
Can I ask you about, what is the guidelines right now for traveling with COVID or for COVID vaccinations and all that?
Come over, Carol.
Okay.
Well,
It's a good question, and
it's a
she
very
can.
good question, and what I tell you today really doesn't matter when you go because we just finished everyone that's leaving for St. Patrick's Day, and guess what? As of tomorrow, they won't need to do either one of the arrival forms anymore, where we had to make sure that they all do the arrival form, otherwise they can't get into the country. So I don't think there'll be any by that time, to be honest. Right now, if you're vaccinated and boosted, you don't have to produce anything but your proof of vaccination to travel. They just changed it again too, so I just got an email, so I believe unvaccinated don't have to do a test anymore either, don't have to show proof. However, to come back to the US, still everyone's required to have a negative PCR test within 24 hours. So that's gonna be the more challenging one if they continue to have that. Going there right now, some of the countries still have a record, like a registration form that you have to fill out so that they know you were vaccinated or whatever. Because like in Northern Ireland, if you're not vaccinated, you have to show that you scheduled a test for 2 days after arrival. But all of those restrictions seem to be going away because everyone's taken the Ukrainian refuge and they're trying to make it easier for them to come into the countries. So all of the restrictions for Ireland went away. They don't have any mask mandates, no social distances, no capacity. They're pretty much back to normal, even for St. Patrick's Day this coming year. For the groups leaving, they have to show proof of vaccinations, that's it, to travel.
What if you don't have that, because my husband cannot get vaccinated?
Then he'll have a medical exemption, so he'll have to approve that paperwork and then have negative PCR tests.
When we're coming back into the States, are we gonna get tested? Are we gonna do
As
that?
of right now, yes.
So, just so I can be on with everybody else, we had talked about this, coming back in the States, it may not be this case when we are traveling, but we had talked about getting our tests like the night before we go and bringing somebody to the hotel, so we don't have to go someplace.
That's what the plan is.
And Bob Rogers was gonna cover the cost of that.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that, right now, we have to do. Now, like I said, it may not be the case when we're in Ireland and coming back into the States, but right now, we can do that. And then, if somebody tests positive, then we will deal with that.
You have to quarantine there, but that's again why, well, by this insurance.
So
Sorry.
you'll be staying
That
in
way
a-
we can take care of you and we don't have to worry about who's gonna pay for it, so that's really,
So that would pay for housing, I mean, for
yeah,
hotel room
so,
and everything
yeah,
like that?
so the nice thing is, and it'll list it in one of the documents on the back too, they just changed the wording on it, but yes, because once you, through a lab certified test, test positive for COVID, you're considered a sickness. And so there is sickness coverage, and you can read through this exactly what sickness coverage entitles, but that gives you then allowance each day to have housing and food and stuff. And most of the hotels already have sort of a quarantine floor set up, so those rooms are there that we don't have to pay for them and hold them, but they're available if we have to use them, so, yes.
What if, I know we're going as a group, but what if like end up testing positive and I have my daughter with me? Like what is that? 'Cause
Well, we still have
obviously-
to quarantine you first, that's kind of the important thing, and then it depends on, usually the insurance, after we through it, has an accompanies, like, portion with it, especially if it's a minor with you,
Well,
but
she's not
it's,
a minor, but I still wouldn't want my daughter, flying
Yeah.
home by herself or something.
I mean, she's with the group, so she's not flying home by
I know.
herself, so, she does have Steve and all of us to be there with her, so, I think it would depend on when we call the insurance company to find out yes or no, then I think you would make the decision to either let her go home or have her stay with you. It probably depends on too, her job, at home, and what she's missing.
Well, yeah, but like even worse, if it's her, I'm certainly not leaving my
No,
daughter.
no,
in
right, if
Ireland.
you're there, then yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm only coming back in the camera because I know there's people who are gonna be watching this, this week. In traveling, there's always the what-ifs. There's always the unknown. There's always situations that we can't plan for. I remember having a coach outside of a town, and we saw a sign, and the coach was like 4 feet longer
Right, and the allowance.
than the allowance in the town. So we had to get people off the bus. We actually called a couple of taxis, and some of us walked. It's probably a mile.
Quarter of a mile, oh, 3/4 of a mile, I would say.
Yeah, into town for dinner. We had no idea. And then during dinner, we worked it out with the people in the town, and they allowed the bus to come in, and then we got on the bus and go. But the bus driver, I was like $500 euro fine. He said, I have to pay that if I get fined. So those are the things we just can't,
Most of the time we can predict. Sometimes when we have those small towns, or they change stuff on the fly, then,
We were at
have
the Black Swan in Stratford, which is commonly known as the Dirty Duck Restaurant. Great place. They gave us one waiter
yeah.
for 45 people. And you know who stepped up to be the waiter?
Your tour director.
And you know who got a black apron because of it? And we only allowed like 90 minutes for lunch.
Right.
It was great. But, so we do the best we can. There's always things that we can't figure out. Maybe somebody's toilet is broken, so we switch rooms. I was in, where was I? I don't know, someplace, Kentucky last week, and my handle was broken. Well, if you took the lid off and just, lifted the thing, it just went fine. But I told them in the morning that it was broken. I didn't break it, but, sometimes Wi-Fi works on this side of the hotel, sometimes it doesn't work on this side of the hotel. So you go to the lobby. It's great to have cell phones, and now everybody has plans and things like that, but especially for kids traveling, and we've had a lot of students travel, just with us, without their parents. But it's great having cell service, and of course you change, and you get an international plan, and, You know, it's way easier now. It really is, and much more cheap. So that's always a good thing. We encourage people to have their phones.
Do you remember in Austria, the first hotel, the bathrooms were small, and it was John and I and the granddaughter. And the shower head was out of control, and the door was open to the shower, and it squirted right through into the bedroom and like soaked one of the beds. So we called for the guy to come up and fix that problem, and then of course we needed dry linens, and he was gonna charge us like huge amount of money for needing dry linens, and you said, I got this. You took care of it. It was like crazy. The guy said, how did that happen? We turned the shower on and it squirted out of the room. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm not real shy when it comes to traveling with people, and I will take care of you. I will buy you shots of Jameson wherever you need them.
I love that about you.
I could not do anything about the hotel, I think it was in Germany, that had the shower in the middle of the room, and it was all glass.
You were warned though, because you've been to the hotel. They had curtains you could close.
That got some attention. You know, especially in Europe, you can't think of like going to a Hampton Inn here in the United States. It's Europe, for crying out loud. The elevators aren't as big, they're not as fast. You know, sometimes traffic is incredible. So you just have to go with the flow. But there's only 2 rules in ShowPro. Only 2 rules that I have in my company. One of them is what?
Be on time.
Be on time. What time do we start the meeting tonight? I promised you we would. There's a second rule that I put in print, and people are like, you're kidding. No, what's the second rule?
Be nice.
Be nice. You have to be nice. I don't care if you missed breakfast. I don't care if you're...
Green in the face because you're carrying the child. It's still nice.
You just be nice. And those 2 rules have taken us on a lot of trips. They really have. And, you know, I try and practice both of them just because being respectful as a group. And it's kind of cool when people, you know, understand that, you know, we have a lot of respect for each other.
You know, on that trip to Ireland, and we were up 40 hours the first day, there was nobody complained, nobody fussed, nobody had a meltdown. Everybody just kept moving, or sitting and waiting, whatever it was we had to do. That's pretty extraordinary.
Yeah. Those are the best travelers, though. You have to go with the flow and just enjoy yourselves, because that's what it's about. That's where you're going.
Yep.
To, you know,
Chance for a lifetime.
yeah, see some
Yeah, it really
places.
is. A lot of people, this is their one time to travel international. And I think it's tremendous. I really do. I make no apology in that every trip, every day is just incredible. And then you have people who can do multiple trips and who can go several places. And that's great. But I mean, truly, if this is the one trip that you're going to make to Europe, I want it to make a trip of a lifetime. Doesn't matter where we go. Even if it's northern Germany that I had to be talked into.
Hey,
It was great. It was awesome. We were in Memorial Church in Berlin.
right, yeah.
We'd seen the wall. You know, we saw this bombed out church. And right next to is Memorial Church, we did a concert. And it was incredible. The people were so warm. We were up in that upper balcony.
Yeah, there's a lot of people there too for Berlin.
It was incredible. And of course, Berlin is a pretty major city. So these stories are just, you know, I have to pinch myself sometimes. You know, I've been there. I mean, we were jumping on the stairs in Salzburg. Oh, a deer, you know, just like in the movie. You know? We did a concert where Maria and the captain were married. It's actually, is that Modesty?
Yes, Monty.
It's not actually in Salzburg. We had to drive about 45 minutes. But we went to that church. And it was, you know, if you like Sound of Music, I mean, you know, we went to those places. So it was kind of cool. Ireland, I got to tell you, they speak English. It's nice. Unlike Paris. But Irish people are wonderful. Irish music is wonderful. Oh my gosh. Irish food is wonderful. And of course, you can't beat some of the landscape. I mean, it's just incredible.
Rainbows
Except
every
we're
day.
going in summer, it should be beautiful.
It's gonna be beautiful. Flowers, oh, we're gonna do the Cliffs of Moher. By the way, can you close that door now? We're not gonna do the whole Ring of Kerry. I've done that, and it's really very long. It's a whole day trip. We're gonna do part of the Ring of Kerry. We're gonna see the Cliffs of Moher. We can do something and double back, and so it's more like a half-day trip, which is enough, because you're gonna see it. But if you do the whole Ring of Kerry, it kills the whole day, and
You want shopping time, so.
yeah. But if you know Ring of Kerry, you know Cliffs of Moher, I have a bad picture up there, but at least it shows you. But it's very cool. Yeah, I guess I do sound like a salesman. What can I tell you? I want people to go. I want them to have a great time. Other questions?
Do you want to show the Ireland picture?
Oh yeah, let's do some pictures from Ireland. Would you like to see some? Really quick? And if you really don't know about the Blarney Stone, it's pretty important. Okay, this is one of the airports. We're going to go really fast. Babs, is that centered on that pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay, all's in English again, which is good. Now sometimes they have some of the Irish dialect, but it's okay. Oh yeah. I think that's one of the ones. And I've shot most of these pictures. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, Rocket.
Yeah, Rock Castle. But you see how it's a little bit different in the
Gaelic.
Gaelic?
Gaelic.
Yeah. So they'll have English and Gaelic, which is fine. Yeah, this is the backyard of somebody's house. Okay. Oh, this is cool.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, this is where the Titanic left from, coming to the United States. It's kind of cool, but I mean it's a whole place to go inside. Go ahead, flip. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my grandmother went, and they weren't allowed to board because my aunt was sick, and they were denied board, and
Wow.
that's where they were.
Wow. Well, it's a very cool place. Go ahead. Not many straight roads in Ireland.
None.
Okay. This is Kinsale. This is a place where you're going to have lunch and have a place to go shopping. We also have dinner here. This is a seaport. It's kind of like on a bay. Go ahead. I think that speaks for itself. Yeah, you can get a lot of, this is Waterford, but we're actually going to go to the factory as well, which is kind of cool. But as you see the FedEx sign, I mean, they'll ship anything, and they insure it and stuff like that. So go ahead. Yeah, if you're ever going to buy a sweater, this is the place to bet it. No question about it. All right. This is actually a bathroom. It gives you like 6 minutes, and that door swings open and closed, and then after 6 minutes, it closes, and then it has a complete shower. It washes the whole thing down. I think we put like 15 people in there for like 2 years or something like that. But it cleans the whole bathroom, and then it opens up again. Yeah, there are lots of old stuff. All right.
Cemeteries.
Believe it or not, that's a two-way street. So we always have to be careful. I think this is where I had lunch. I just go to like the grocery store and get lunch rather than go in a restaurant. Lunch is generally on your own. You can do whatever you want. By the way, breakfasts are always big, especially in the restaurants we have. So I don't know if I should put this in the recording, but if you were to take a napkin and take a few things from breakfast for your lunch and stick it in your backpack,
Or just enjoy the local cuisine.
that's right. All right. This is one of the places I think we did a concert. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Remember your electric is different. And so you will not only need a transition, but you'll need a converter. And when we get people who are on the trip, I'll talk about that, because you need to go down from 220 to your 110. But that's different. Irish Stout ice cream. All right. This is one of the restaurants. That's the castle, and I just took a picture of the poster. Go ahead. That's the same thing. I think that's how you get up to the Blarney Stone. Go ahead. That's it. You see the people who are lined up here? And I'm not sure if I think I have a picture of me kissing it, because there's only one way you can do it. Yep, that's it.
Upside down.
You got upside down, and they hold you, and there's like a gap of a space. But you know the story of kissing the Blarney Stone? I'm not going to tell you. But you want to kiss the Blarney Stone. Okay. Yeah, that was the stop I was talking about. It's great. And I got to tell you, you're going to see me in pictures like this. I did it one time on a tour. It's like, I can't believe I'm here. And that has been my pose. So when you see me like this, it's like, I just can't believe I'm here. And I do that all the place. Okay. And yes, we do drive on the other side of the road, which really is exciting. Go ahead. We always have great drivers. That's just a regular town, regular street. Go ahead. Oh, that was from our coach, which is nice. European coaches. I think I was on the coach,
Yeah, that's the bathroom. The emergency only
which is
bathroom.
nice. That's part of Cliffs of Moher. That's on the Ring of Kerry. I have no idea what that is.
I think it's St. Mary's in Clarny,
Okay, fine, okay.
pretty sure. She was staying in there too.
Yeah, that was part of my lunch one day. Okay. So, well, it's just a map. Go ahead. Yeah, that's where we drive. Right there. We go slow. Go ahead. Oh, this is a great place. We're in Killarney now. Okay, go ahead. There's just a lobby of one of our hotels. So go quick. That was where we have breakfast. Okay? That's where we have fun at the end of the night. That was just one of our rooms.
That'd be a triple room. So usually you have 2 twin beds for a double room, or one double bed, mostly for couples, or 2 twin beds if it's, 2 roommates.
But we can do triples, and sometimes that works out nice. It's a little nicer. Because, yeah, you had triples, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, but works well for families.
I forgot I had all these in here. Okay. All right. Okay, I would say Mary, there's another church we sang in. Oh, yeah, this is a cool place. Go ahead, we're gonna go quick. Yep. Yep. That was another choir. I just thought it was kind of cool. Go ahead. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter what country you're in. These cathedrals are so cool. You just walk in and go, oh, wow. I forgot I had that in there. Oh, that's just kind of menu. See, when we have the group together, I'll go over these kind of things. For instance, there's a pulled pork. I usually get chips with it as well, $8.95. I don't know what the fares are now, but that's euros, $8.95. That gives you an idea of what you do for lunch. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, that's Kinsale, I think. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Just another hotel. Go. Yeah, I like this place a lot. So okay. So that gives you a little idea of prices. Now, who knows what prices are going to be now? But I mean, this was a couple years ago. Cappuccino, $2.90. Americano is just regular coffee, but there's all kinds of stuff to get. Still water. You either have bubbly water, efferents. So there's lots of things to learn in the country you go to, and every country is a little different. Go ahead. Go through. Is that it? Okay. Well, that just gives you a little idea of Ireland. Sandy was on that trip with us, and it's a great country. The people are wonderful. The people of Ireland. Oh. I went on a trip by myself one time and found myself in Galway because I was going to go to Northern Ireland because I wanted to go to someplace outside of Belfast, and there was a bomb that blew up. Now you realize that there's not the tensions politically and with the Protestants and the Catholics anymore. That's pretty well resolved. But it was a Monday, and the guy who owned the pub, his horse won in the race on Sunday, so he was really happy. So the guitar player didn't show up on Monday night, and that's when they had the band. So I played for 2.5 hours. I played in the band. It was so much fun. If you like Irish music, and Irish music is really kind of cool, but the food is good, the people are great.
Sorry, I apologize.
That's all right. So, if I wasn't Norwegian, I'd love to be Irish. I think everybody wants to be a little Irish. Okay, other questions? So right now, we have basically Ireland and Italy on the board and ready to sign up. Numbers are. There's always a trip number. Carol has her business cards there. I've got some ShowPro business cards you're welcome to take. You're welcome to keep the pens. They're actually, they rate pretty nice, so whatever, if you got them. There's information here on both those trips. I also have trips going to the Ark this summer. Down in Kentucky. We stay at the Hampton Inn, either Dry Ridge or in Richwood. I was there last weekend. So you're welcome to take any of that information. We'll hang around as long as we need, but if you are done, I think we're done. And we'll say all those online, hopefully we'll hear from you soon. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Laura.
Which trip are you going?
Thank you, Babs.